So finally I'm making my review for Anno Dracula. I'm gonna put information on here and trying to on the information part and try to put like links to some sites and stuff I can find with them or for the book. But it's been a while because I got it for Christmas and I stopped reading. I read it like a little bit and then stopped reading because I was going through some stuff. And then I started on this positivity change in my life, and I was just like, one of the things was reading more. So I immediately dived into it and couldn't stop reading it afterwards. Like before, I was kept getting distracted or falling asleep every time I started reading it, and it wasn't because it was boring or anything. It was just other things going on. But I loved the book. I did not expect to like it that much. It wasn't one of those books that's like I mean, it was. I couldn't stop reading it, but it wasn't one of those books that I'm gonna reread later, personally. But I know a lot of other people really love the book, so it's just me. I love that the author brings in so many different characters for that time period because they're talking about like they like mention Bram Stoker and some other things and like Oscar Wilde. And I love how they turn some historical figures like different poets and whatnot into vampires or send them off to do like these terrible tasks and whatnot. It was awesome. It's so much fun reading about different characters that you're like or different people you have like set in your mind just from portraits or like their bland information that you learn about in history class and then reading them in a book and then having a little bit of extra spice added to their life. Like Oscar Wilde as a vampire, really, that is fantastic. So, some things I didn't get at first. Like I didn't get the Florence at first. I was like, I didn't, or Florence, Bram Stoker's wife. I was kind of like, who is this lady? Why is she keep getting mentioned? I think I might have skipped over her last name at one point or something. That's probably why. But the author doesn't force all these characters in. It isn't like, let's see how many characters I can list, even though there's a ton of them and ton of different references and things, there's tons of other stuff. The author really did, you know, their work. They really dug into different things. It wasn't like, okay, let's make these 15 characters and vampires and then just leave them there, you know? And you're like, no, I want to know what happens to this person, you know, because it might be a poet you like or an author or a political figure or something. But there's some parts where the author's name's Kim, so for some reason I had a man in my head because I was thinking of like an Asian man or something. I don't know why. It just did. But I was told it's a woman. I haven't checked it. I'll use their Googler later. But yeah, so I really liked it. And it's funny because I was reading another series of books about Nicholas Flamel that a friend sent me, and even though they're interesting reads, I don't like how they turn Dr. D into the evildoer. And he's worse than Niccolo Machiavelli in the book because they're both immortal. And so in this book, none of the people that he mentioned really, or she mentioned, had like a bad turn to them that which made me dislike the character and not be able to connect to it. Like I love Dr. John Dee. This is for the other series I'm reading. And so to have him as a character that's completely evil and like smells of rotten eggs and stuff kind of like threw me off, and it makes it really hard to read the book, even though the book is, you know, entertaining. But this series, I don't, maybe just because they're vampires and they're not really like evil magicians or anything, and then the really evil characters were already evil to begin with. There wasn't any like different liberties taken with that. But yeah, so I highly recommend you get it. If you like vampires, you like Victorian history, you like Victorian authors and poets and different things like that. The one part at the end, though, that I can't spoil it. Dang it! Oh, I already did spoil it a little bit. I told you some of the people that turn into vampires. So don't watch this video if you don't want to learn a couple things about the book. And I love the main character. Or I guess you can say he's the main character. In my eyes, he was Charles Beauregard. I really liked him. There was something just like relaxing about him. Kind of like when I would read part of his side of the story or his perception of different things, or when people would talk about him in the book. There's just something so like, not that he's laid back, but that he's like quiet and he makes you feel secure and safe, you know? So I felt that way throughout the entire book. And I love that that they talk about I'm like trying to Lily or Lucy. Why am I saying Lily? Lucy and Mina and all those different things. Because at the same time I was reading the book, I was making a line of perfumes based on Dracula. So I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, yes, it's working. It's keeping these stories in my head. And then seeing these characters in different parts of the book too. Not all of them. Obviously, Lucy's dead. She died in Dracula. So and John Harker and all these different things. But they mentioned Van Helsing. Not a good ending. At the end, you get to see Mina Harker again. It's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna recommend it to my friends to read. And so think that's pretty much all I can say. I mean, if I was having a conversation, you're asking about it, I'd be able to tell you more. But that's just the general kind of how I feel about the book. So yeah, thank you for watching.